Hi, and welcome to another video. It's been a while since I last recorded a video, and part of that is because I've just had a lot going on in the background, but then also a lot of resistance and fear, which I'm still experiencing as I record this voiceover, but that's okay. Yeah, so I'll be showing you my process. Well, a process for drawing characters, I guess. This is a character that I drew a while back, and I actually recorded this video a while back, but then I set a lot of unrealistic expectations, which after some writing I realized that that's not fair, I guess, being the first time I'm recording commentary. Well, recording the video itself wasn't the problem, but then adding the commentary is like, what do I say? And yeah, I guess I also watched some videos on it. There's a creator known as Ahmed Alduri. He has a very nice video on the whole subject of, I guess, putting yourself out there as an artist. The video itself is called Let Them Walk Away. Well, there's Let Them Walk Away, and then there's also another one called Breathe. So yeah, just talks about, as artists, we sometimes have this thing where we offer our art as a reason to be validated. Here's this thing that I drew, here's this thing that I made, and then in exchange for that, you give me a validation, which is, I guess, is what I was going through with this video specifically. I was thinking to myself, okay, will they like what I have to say? Like, what do I have to say that anyone would want to listen to? But after a while, you let them walk away. If like it's not you can also tell that speaking is not my strongest suit. I haven't forgot what I was thinking about. Anyway, so yeah, I usually, back to the character, I like to start with a sketch to capture the pose. Well, this wasn't necessarily a character design. It was just one of those things. Like, let me just draw a character for the sake of it. So I start with a pose to capture like the character's personality, and then I'll refine the pose with some very basic anatomy groupings, not even really anatomy, which is what you see me doing right here. Just to figure, this is the stage where I figure out, I guess, the proportions and yeah, the anatomy. So I do this and then get to the rough sketch. The process itself is actually very slow. I'll just speed it up by twice the initial speed, twice or 3 times. Yeah. So this is the process I take for, just to have fun. For a character design for a client, it's kind of different because you have to go into a bunch of different things like iterations and all that, but yeah. Yeah, so back to the resistance and fear thing, it's I was just thinking to myself that it's very strange that while I was doing the thing for myself and I was drawing for myself without any expectation of anyone seeing this, like it's fine. But then the moment I decide, okay, I need to record a voiceover, then there's all this pressure that it's like, why is that there? Like, I guess there was kind of a need for that validation that I was talking about earlier. Which doesn't really make sense if you think about it. Like, why would I want validation from people that I don't even know? It doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, so that is why I got into the writing, the journaling, and then listening to that video by Ahmed Alderi. He captures it better than I can. Why also the fear of, I guess, as you can tell, speaking is not really my thing as of yet. So there was that fear that, okay, what if I have nothing to say? What if they don't like what I have to say? Which is, I guess, valid. But you know, you get better over time. So yeah, this is me taking the first steps, baby steps, swimming with the sharks. Yeah, so as you can see here, after I have the base sketch with the basic anatomy, I then go over it with a different color, trying to figure out the costume or the clothing, and then also if there are any props, how would the cloth fall over the anatomy, the folds and all that. I do it in a different color because it's easier for me to see. If I went in with black, it should all get mixed up and I wouldn't be able to tell. It's also on a separate layer, which just makes things easier. Yeah, so after I made this character, I then watched John Wick 4. And then I came up with a whole story, a whole backstory for this character based on John Wick, which is that she's John Wick's sister. Like when he was being adopted into the Ruskaroma, he was assigned a sister because, you know, he was young. And then I guess they grew up together. And then yeah, I guess that would be a spoiler. You need to watch John Wick for the story to make sense. But yeah, there's a whole backstory for this character based on the John Wick franchise, which is kind of cringe, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Also at some point during this video, my phone ran out of storage, so there's some footage that I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. There's some footage missing. So yeah, that's one thing I guess I could do better next time. I guess I should have a script next time. Because, well... But then why do I also feel that I need to be saying something? You guys can just watch. If I have something to say, I'll speak. If I don't, I'll still be here until I do. Yeah, so after I have the base sketch, I then get into the inking. Unless it's for work, I don't really like the whole clean ink kind of look. Which is what you'll see. My inks are not very as clean as you'd expect them to be. Like zoomed in, you can tell they're not clean, but then from a distance, they look clean, which is nice. You can also let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you'd like to see. I don't necessarily want to be the kind of, art tutorial channel, but I guess I can do some tutorials if you'd be interested in that. I don't know if this is picking up any background sound. I'll say that in the editing and try to clean it up, because there's a lot of noise where I'm recording this from. So yeah, for the inks, I'm trying to experiment with a particular style where you have the outside very thick and then the inside lines are thin. I really like that style. You can see it with modern day gems. What's his name? Q Fang, I think. Yes. It's a style that I like for now, so I'll experiment with it until I don't like it anymore. And then you can also see I added some ambient occlusion where like light doesn't touch, like those deep crevices, like on the collar, under the neck, on the hand thing, is what I called sleeves. Is it sleeves? I think. And then also the coat. It just helps to make it pop more, I guess. And it also helps to separate the layers of one thing on top of the other. So this is now me adding a fill layer so I can add the colors on top. Just makes life easier. Because in this economy we need an easy life. We need life to be easier. And so you can see my inking is just very basic, like it's not as clean. Then what am I doing here? I'm adding the colors. So the colors, sometimes I like to have, like I'll pick the colors and then have them at the side of the page, which I guess you'll see later on. Also, if I don't like a color with Clip Studio, you can just press Ctrl U and then change the hue and the values to where you want it. With the whites, I'm not actually going like pure white. It's not pure white. It's kind of low on the hue stroke value. Yeah. And then while adding the colors, I'll have a layer on top of everything else set to filled with white and set to color mode. Just so I can see the values and make sure they make sense. Make sure they're valuable. Yeah, so you can say I have the colors at the side. Yeah, this art thing is very strange because while it can bring you joy, it also includes a lot of pain. An insurmountable amount of pain. Especially now, I think I'm sure everyone who's an artist is very anxious. The whole AI discussion. Like, what does it mean for me as an artist in the next 10, 20 years? Are you willing to die broke? Are you willing to die homeless? I guess not if you're a purist. Well, no, you'll die broke if you're a purist, if you're not willing to adapt. Yeah, because for me the fun part is the figuring out of whatever it is I'm making, like the sketching, the iterations, and all that. So if you're telling me that AI will make that easier, it's like, okay, understandable. But then this is the part that I find the most fun. So make it make sense, right? So, you know. I guess there'll always be a market. Well, to be optimistic, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. Yeah, one of the things I was also thinking about is that this is generally very boring. Like, who would want to watch me draw stuff and then color and then light? Yeah, but then a friend of mine told me that it's the way I view my art is not the way other people will view it. You will always, well, not always, but most of the time you'll not like your art, even if it's good. But then that doesn't necessarily mean other people won't see any value in it, I guess. Yeah. So in general, just don't be too hard on yourself. You know? Life is already doing that for you, so. Oh yeah, my editing is also kind of shit at the moment, so it will get better with time, hopefully. So we've probably seen some very mediocre transitions, which is just a cut, I guess. I think there are better ways of doing it, which I will learn as time goes on. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, phone running out of space. So the background, it's just, I just went on Google and then found an explosion background and then added it to the image, but then I had to do some paint over just so the composition kind of makes sense. And you can see the brush strokes where I painted over. And then what I like to do is have the background lit first, so I can know how the lighting will work on the characters, like the bounce light and all that. So here I'm just showing you the shadow layer, which I do, and then cut out where the light will go. And then I'll add a light layer set to add glow or hard light, depending on my horoscope. And then I'll also add a bounce light, which just makes everything pop. It's kind of subtle, but then it makes a huge difference. Yeah, sometimes I'll add ambient occlusion in the lighting as well, if you feel like it. But other than that, I guess this video is about to come to an end. Yeah, you can see the brush strokes where I was painting over the background. Because what we had initially was the light part was covering the character, so we couldn't really tell her apart from the background. So I had to paint over some darkness. Oh, not darkness really. Like to make her pop from the background. So it's kind of a light against dark kind of thing. And then, like I always say, always add dream light. Why? Because those are the laws, those are the rules. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. It also adds, like, it helps to separate the character from the background even more than the lighting alone. You also need to be very careful with this dream light, because it's not in all situations you need to add dream light. But then again, always add dream light. So yeah, if you've listened this far to my ramblings, thank you. And I'll see you in the next video. I've included a time lapse of the whole process at the end, if you're interested in that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, subscribe, like if you feel the need to do so. Other than that, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video, which I may or may not have already recorded. Yeah, bye.